Hey there guys, I'm doing a short video on optimizing images for the web. Basically what that means is we're going to talk about picking the right kinds of files for your images in order to get the quality you want and the size you want. But before we start talking too much about different files, we're going to talk about what image optimization is and why it's important. For starters, when you open a website, you're loading all the contents of that website. And most of what's going to slow that down is images or videos or things similar to that, but for the purpose of this discussion we'll stick with images. So if you're loading up too many images, the result is going to be that you're going to have a really slow load time for your screen, and of course as web developers that's not what we want. While at the same time we want to make sure that the quality is acceptable. And so that's why I'm going to talk a little bit about these different file formats, and we're going to go over three major ones: JPEGs, GIFs, and PNGs. And they all have different purposes and would be used for different situations. And we're going to talk about why one might be optimal over the other for certain kinds of images. The first one I'm going to talk about is JPEG. JPEG is an ideal file format to use for things like photographs, or anything with an intense colors or large amount of color range. As you can see in the photograph, there are three pictures here. This kind of represents low quality, middle quality, and high quality of JPEGs. And depending on what you want to do with these images, for example, if you wanted a very large background image, you might use something like a middle quality or lower quality so that you're not using up a ton of space on your website, because these JPEGs are larger file sizes than some of the other file sizes because there is such a large amount of color range and detail. GIF files, on the other hand, are ideal for small images, logos, any pictures that have a very small range of color, because the GIF file can only range in 256 colors, and it also produces a much smaller file, which is ideal for small images and keeping more space available on your site. PNG files, on the other hand, work much like GIFs, but have a bit of a larger color range and are ideal when you're trying to use any sort of transparency. This is a really good thing to use for icons, buttons with a little more detail. It's a lot like a GIF, but it's a larger file, and it allows for more access to transparency and a bit of a larger color range.